everybody, this is Piana and today I'm going to be talking about Sergei Lukyanenko's Watch series. Okay, buckle up for this. Sergei Lukyanenko is a Russian author born in Kazakhstan who started writing during his years as a medical student and is now renowned all over the world for his fantasy Watch series. The series is set in modern-day Moscow and tells the story of the Others, a group of people who exist all over the world. The Others include magicians, shapeshifters, and prophets, but also witches, vampires, and werewolves, split into two factions, the Light Ones and the Dark Ones. The Light Ones using their powers for the good of those around them, the Dark Ones using theirs for their own benefits. The Others get their power from a shadow dimension called the Twilight, which feeds off the emotions and magical emissions of humans. And they can enter this twilight in order to hide from the everyday world and perform magic. The Twilight has several levels, the first level being accessible to all the others, the other levels demanding more power in order to reach them. In order to prevent the balance between the Light Ones and the Dark Ones getting out of hand, their powers are divided into two forces known as the Watches. The Night Watch run by the Light Ones and the Day Watch run by the Dark Ones, the aim being to monitor the activities of the opposing side in order to maintain the balance of power. The Night Watch. Anton Gorodetsky is a young light magician who works for the Moscow Night Watch. He is sent out on patrol to capture a vampire who's been killing without a license. Because, yeah, vampires need a license to kill. And if they don't have one, they have to rely on donor blood. Stephanie Meyer, you missed a trick there. Anton finds the vampire hot in pursuit of a young boy called Egor, who is a potential other. Anton then works to try and keep the boy safe from the vampire's grasp. Out on patrol, Anton also comes across a young woman called Svetlana, who's afflicted by a terrible curse. The curse is so powerful that it puts all of Moscow in danger. Boris, the head of the Night's Watch, assigns Anton with an assistant in the form of a stuffed owl, who turns out to be a powerful enchantress called Olga. And together, and also with the help of the Day Watch, they work to remove the curse from Svetlana. Svetlana turns out to be a very powerful enchantress herself, though she has no knowledge of her abilities, and the curse upon her was put there by none other than herself as part of a guilt process. Svetlana's destiny is to give birth to an absolute enchantress, an other so powerful none can rival her. The Day Watch. Elisa is a Dark One, a witch who works for the Day Watch. She's called on duty along with her colleagues to capture a witch who's been working outside of the Watch's jurisdiction. However, when they arrive, a battle takes place between their forces and the forces of the Night Watch, leaving Elisa drained of her powers. In order for her to recover, she is sent to a youth camp near the Black Sea. There she meets a charming young man called Igor, and they fall in love. However, she soon discovers that Igor is a member of the Night Watch of Moscow, a light other who participated in the battle over the witch, and who is partly responsible for her being drained of her powers. Shortly after this, a powerful artifact is stolen from the Inquisition, an organization that is neutral and that sees that all other laws are respected. Also, a man named Vitaly awakens in a park on his way to Moscow with no memory of his past and obeying a strange power, leading him to commit certain acts such as killing members of the Night Watch in order to restore the balance of power between the Light Ones and the Dark Ones. The Twilight Watch. Anton and Svetlana are now married, and they have a baby daughter called Nadia, the absolute enchantress destined to be born to Svetlana. A mysterious letter is sent to both Watches and the Inquisition. The author claims to have revealed the existence of others to a human and threatens to turn said human into another. Anton is called upon to work this all out, along with a vampire called Kostya, an old friend of his who now works for the Day Watch. They discover that a powerful witch known as Arina possesses an ancient manuscript containing a spell capable of turning ordinary human beings into others. After being pursued and escaping, Arina takes Anton's daughter Nadia hostage. Later on, they discover a plot to turn all human beings into others, the result of which could have disastrous consequences, as it would decrease the levels of magic in the world. The Last Watch. At this point, Anton is becoming a very powerful magician and has to learn how to deal with his new abilities. When a young Russian man is murdered in Edinburgh, Anton is sent over to Scotland to help the local watch. After Anton gets attacked himself, a member of the Scottish Night Watch tells him that someone's been trying to break into Merlin's secret hide, where according to legend he hid the crown of all things, a powerful magical artifact, though no one seems to know exactly what it's capable of. The book takes the characters very deep into the twilight, the deepest level of which would appear to be the afterlife for all others, for that's where they disappear to when they die. Anton then journeys to Uzbekistan in order to meet an old friend of Merlin's and to try and find out who would be trying to break into his old hide and steal the terrifying artifact within. The New Watch. Whilst at the airport, Anton encounters a young boy called Kesha in the middle of a screaming fit, trying to convince his mother not to make him board the plane because he's convinced it's going to crash. The boy turns out to be a prophet, an other capable of telling the future and announcing prophecies. This encounter is shortly followed by the appearance of a terrifying being commonly known as the Tiger and sent by the Twilight itself to kill the boy and stop a terrible prophecy from being uttered. The Sixth Watch. A teenage girl is attacked by a vampire in Moscow, and it turns out she's only the latest in a string of attacks, which are destined to send a message to Anton. Shortly after this, all the prophets of the world announce the end of the world in a terrifying prophecy. An attempt is made to kidnap Nadia, Anton and Svetlana's daughter, who's now a teenager. However, Anton and Svetlana burst in on the kidnappers and a terrible battle ensues. The creature is in fact an ancient god of the twilight. Angered by the neglect of his followers, he's now returned and is gonna destroy all life on Earth. 'Cause that's what you do when you're a god and you're angry. Apparently. Yeah. Anton and the Day Watch work along with vampires, witches, and the Night Watch in order to stop this terrible creature and save the world. So that was it for the Night Watch series. That was the last book in the series. I'm desperately hoping for another one because you can't end it like that. You just can't. Not given what we know. There's gotta be something next. Come on. So, what's my conclusion for this? Well, this is definitely a heavyweight in the world of magical creatures and vampires and werewolves and all of that. It's honestly one of my favourite series of fantasy fantasy series and magical series. It's really, really good. I really like the fact that most of it is told from the point of view of Anton, he starts off as not being very special. He's not really anyone very particular. He's just a member of the Night Watch. And, you know, as the kind of everything unfolds, he becomes more and more powerful until he ends up as like one of the higher level magicians. And he does some wonderful things and saves the world on numerous times, and still manages to be an ordinary husband and father and just a lovely person with all the cynicism and humor and black humor that goes with that. So yeah, definitely worth giving this one a go. Please, can we have part 7? Please.